Tony, to follow on those things, you called a timeout, 19 minutes left in the second half after a three-pointer by Davidson. That things were better for that. Why
Yeah.
timeout? What was the message?
Well, I'd like to take credit. Hey, that's what got their attention. They got a few offensive rebounds. We didn't get on the floor for a ball. We talked about setting the tone, and I didn't like what I saw. And if that's how it's going to be a long afternoon. And I just, challenged them, say that's enough. That's enough, and let me see a scrap. Whether it mattered or not, I was ticked, and they needed to hear it, and they needed to respond. And for the most part, I think we did. So.
With Joe only scoring for 1 point, was that a product of something they were doing to defend him, or? Yeah,
no, they did a good job defensively on Joe, but, I don't care how good of a job they do. Him scoring 1 point is probably more the exception than the norm. When you're a good player and, you didn't get a ton of shots, we have some depth and balance. You just got to keep plugging. He's got to keep working to get open, to get good looks, to try to impact the game in other ways, but continuing to have, if you just say, well, I got to be aggressive and bull in a china shop, that's not the answer. You have to be assertive with control. You got to still let it come, but you can't become passive. So, he's finding that niche. I need to watch the game. I think we had if you look at this stat, Whitey, we had 31 bench points to their 3, okay? And we had 36 points in the paint to their 8. And at the expense of, we could go inside. Mike was playing well. We could get some stuff at the rim, in the paint, that I think we had to keep doing that. And, we ran a couple things to get Joe some looks, but I think that was what was giving us success, and then being a little better defensively. So I think we went the right way with that. And Joe's just got to keep working and finding himself, and he'll be fine, I believe. But that's what's different maybe this year than last year, if we keep improving, is to absorb a game. Anthony wasn't great offensively. Was a good offensive player for us, and Joe, but we had some other answers for that, and that at least was good. And it's a hard team to play against, the way they move and they keep you guarding, and their continuous motion. It makes you work.
Talk about Justin's 3 with 3:12 left at the 9-point game that they did 12.
Yeah.
Just the way he played and coming off the bench for the first time.
Yeah, he was solid. That was a big 3. I thought he was active, played very sound. We had a stretch where they, again, late, they got a bunch of off the free throw rebounds, offensive rebounds. They kept, I don't know how many points they got on that, maybe 5 points on that possession. And no, the game wasn't over, but those are the things that I didn't feel like we needed to be in that spot. But for Justin, wide open shot. We had rotated the ball. They sagged off him. That was a big 3, and he made, his free throws. So, he was, what's that? Yeah, and they were above the rim rebounds. He was really going and getting it, and we were having a little trouble grabbing balls. We were catching them, I thought, at our chin or our shoulders, and he was one of the guys who was just kind of soaring above everybody and snatching them, because you play that hard a defense, and they're going to shoot some long shots or do things. You better one and done them, as we like to say, and that was a little frustrating when you look at 16 offensive rebounds. I mean, that's a very alarming number.
Tony, how did you want to defend Brooks?
How did we want to defend Brooks? We wanted to, we use our post trap a lot. Let me look at his stat line, 415. We really wanted to, make it hard on him. So when he got a catch, we wanted to be there and trap. Now, he hit a couple threes early, and I don't know, I should know what his three-point percentage is. I don't know if but Mike was a little soft on him, but we said, don't let him go to work, because he'll either draw fouls or get going. And, you've seen his past success, so we wanted to make him and them beat us outside, over-the-top, contested threes, which we didn't do in the first half. And I thought we were fairly effective with our defensive job on him, because he can get going. And when he's going, they play well.
Tony, talk about the importance of your offensive and defensive superiority, and was that the main difference in the game, in your opinion?
Well,
I'm talking about inside.
Yeah. No, I think we had to go there. I think we're an inside-out team for the most part when you look at our pieces. And I thought when we rotated the ball and we spread the floor, we had some advantages and even some offensive rebounding. We got tip backs. London did a nice job of getting off the ball screen with the floor spread, getting it to the right people. So it was good to see that, and good to see Mike certainly, look at his stat line. That was impressive.
Talk about Toby off the bench.
What's that?
Talk about Toby off the bench.
Night took.
Yeah, well, yeah, good game. We started him in the second half, and he, he's a scoring threat. Some games are hard matchups. They had, especially when Brooks was hitting threes, and they've got their 4 or their 5 way out on the three-point line, so that presents some challenges. But he did an okay job, but what he was giving us offensively was so important, and he's got good hands. He keeps the ball up. You can see all those things. So I was excited to see him take another step.
Were you surprised when you went back and looked at the other game that played 1 minute in the second half?
Yeah, I probably should have played him more. I told you that. If you remember, he got a quick third foul, and so we got him out. I didn't want him to pick up a fourth because he had a good first half. And Darian did a nice job, which is kind of this team. You have it. Darian was really defending. He was mobile. And then VCU went to their 4-guard lineup with Graham. And I thought we had to have a Keel on the floor when Darian was playing well. So we were stretching the lead or at least doing some things. So I thought would go that if I had to do that over again, I would have tried to insert him in there. But, that's a hard call because of the way VCU played with 4 guards. And our only big who could guard him was, in that case, Keel. So...
When you started London and Malcolm together, when they're in there, is 1 the point and 1 the 2, or are they just...
Yeah. In our system, I think it's interchangeable, our 1, 2s, and 3s. But what happens, when London's in there and Malcolm, you have more ball handling, which is important, even though the 17 turnovers don't show that. But at times it lets Malcolm, as you saw, he did a heck of a job, slide off the ball when he's not bringing it up and get to concentrate on driving more, coming off some more screens. You know what? When you initiate your offense and they can take turns, that's just one less opportunity. So I liked it. I thought it worked well together, and I love playing with as many ball handling point combo guards as possible. I think that's an effective way at times, and I thought that helped Malcolm out, and they both are pretty complete.
Tony, coming in, were you at all concerned, or did you suspect the 12 o'clock start might throw you guys off the game?
Not the start. What I was concerned or what I was aware of is, Davidson, okay, they got beat by Milwaukee, who they were dominating, or not, they were ahead of that game. There was some free throw issues. Duke, that was a different story, how hot Duke was. It's a good team. It's in their city. Their team, when they start hitting threes, are very dangerous. And when they started doing that in the first half, going 7-17, and they were getting some of those open looks, I knew they'd make us work. Certainly well coached. Coach McKillop's excellent. We recruited the Sullivan kid hard. And I just knew that we would have to be ready. That is college basketball. I say this all the time. If you don't give everything you got, especially when you go away from home, just because we're from the ACC and they're not, if you're not ready, you're going to find yourself in trouble. And we're not a team who can be anything but at our best. Now, we have some depth, so that's good. But that, I was very well aware of that. I knew it would be probably won't get, people are going to say, oh, they beat Davidson. We had to work, and I knew we would. They made you work. They made you guard. They made you, do some things. And we'll keep improving, and we'll take it because I respect their ball club and their program over the years. I'm glad Curry wasn't out there, though.
Now, you played in the other building. Did you have any kind of history in the building?
Yeah, I actually, some of the gentleman right before the game did all of our Hornet games at the Hive. We played when I was at Washington State, and we made it to the Sweet 16. And we played North Carolina here in, what year was it, Bach? 07? Tennessee, Louisville, us and Carolina were here. And that was the 5th time Carolina had played in this building because I think the ACC tournament was here that year. And they came, and we came down, so we played in the Sweet 16, and they took it to us. Good team, so I was there for that. But some of the people from the Hornet days are still around. And there was a great article on Muggsy and in our hotel on the Charlotte magazine on Muggsy in the first year of the Charlotte Hornets. I read it last night, and I was just smiling because just how the Hornets got the team, the first game, and then seeing what became of it was kind of neat. So this is where I met my wife, where I had my NBA career. I like Charlotte.
Tony, you mentioned the 17 turnovers. Of the guys who played appreciable minutes in London, was the only one who didn't have any.
Yep.
Who played
5 assists, 0 turnovers.
5-0 as a former point guard. What do you think of his play?
Yeah, I liked it. He doesn't get sped up. Right below that, that one jumps out at me. Akil, 6 turnovers. He rushed. He traveled a couple times, did some things. He's got to slow down, and he did a little more. But that kind of, I think, that takes that number. It skews it a little bit. But But yeah, we've said that about London. He even against VCU's press and pressure, he's hard to speed up. He has that calm demeanor and poise that you like, and so that's important for us, especially when we have some guys that we can, a guy like Mike or guys that can get touches. You need that.
Tony, one more from Mike.
I was gonna ask you, was it Justin's shoulder, and is he okay, and what about Evan and
He's,
concussion?
yeah, Justin, I asked him if he was all right. He said, I'm okay when he walked into the locker room. I mean, he was either, he was doing this and, I don't know, shoulder, elbow, but. Yeah, it was a dramatic, maybe he got a stinger. I don't know what it was. No. Evan, yeah, Evan practiced for the first time on, he had 1 or 2 practices, Bach, 1 or 2 practices. And so, we used him a little bit, but he's slowly getting back, and, he got to be able to play some minutes, not a lot, but should be.
Maybe he got hit in the nose too.
Yeah, do you think it looked good, or do you think it was a little crooked or not? So, I think he did. Yeah, his mom said it was an improvement, so we'll just stick with that. So, he moved it. I might have. I mean, everybody. I think every player out there's got a broken nose from getting hit on it. Okay.
Did you get invited to the Eagles concert?